Good evening. The Pakistan-Afghanistan border is on fire. The 2,600-kilometer long Durand Line that divides Pakistan and Afghanistan, a line that Afghanistan does not believe in. Because remember, Afghanistan has for long said, ek taraf Afghanistan, dusri taraf Hindustan, kahan se aaya Pakistan. That's the thinking in Afghanistan. But today, you have a situation that Afghan drones have hit Pakistan's capital, Islamabad. Afghan drone strikes at Pakistan, in Abbottabad, where you have Pakistan's military academy in Kabul, very close to that. So, Afghanistan has today shown that it's strong, not just along the Durand Line, not just in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, where since the takeover by Taliban in 2021, about 5,000 Pakistanis have been killed, 3,000 security forces personnel and about 2,000 civilians along the Durand Line since 2021, and we are now in 2026. The situation is very dire. There's also a chilling warning that's come from Afghanistan. Our hand can reach their necks anytime. That's the warning from Afghanistan's government spokesperson. Afghanistan's defense ministry has said that their forces have carried out successful drone strikes in the heart of Pakistan's Islamabad. They've targeted multiple military locations in Islamabad, in Noshera and in Abbottabad. The huge plumes of smoke and balls of fire that you see in different parts of Pakistan, they tell the story. Watch your television screen closely. Pakistan has officially conceded along 15 sectors in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, which is Northwest Frontier Province, which is the area bordering Afghanistan. 15 sectors in various locations, 55 different locations, and this is the official statement that's coming in from Pakistan. Afghanistan forces opened fire. They're engaging Pakistani forces since yesterday. Very, very tense situation along the Afghan border. The situation is so bad that Pakistan, that first carried out airstrikes, not just at Kabul and Kandahar, but also in Paktia province. Pakistan, after Afghanistan's retaliation, has reached out to Saudi Arabia. They've reached out to Qatar and they've reached out now to Turkey seeking intervention. There are multiple locations that have been set on fire inside Pakistan. In an exclusive interaction with India today, Afghan officials have confirmed that drone strikes that were carried out and that hit Islamabad. The drone strike was barely 5 kilometers from Pakistan's Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif's office. They insist military facilities in Islamabad, Noshera, Jamrud and Abbottabad were successfully targeted. Afghanistan does not have an air force, but they have a drone force which is hitting way beyond Pakistan's expectations. Afghanistan's army chief Fasiuddin Fitrat has issued a clear warning to Pakistan's military leadership, insisting any further violation of Afghan territory will be met with even stronger and an even more decisive response. So in a very sharply worded message, he declared aggression will not go unanswered. He's cautioned Pakistani authorities, do not think you're secure in Afghanistan, in Islamabad. Our hand can reach your neck anytime. Even as these claims escalate, sources say Pakistan is seeking international intervention to dial down tension, to dial down pressure. Even as these claims escalate, sources say Pakistan is seeking international intervention to dial down tension, to dial down pressure. Before I get you more on the story, let me get to the day's developments.
The Durand Line is on fire, an all-out flare-up on the Pakistan-Afghanistan border. Heavy weapons, fighter jets, drone strikes and claims of captured soldiers. Afghanistan launched coordinated attacks on Pakistani military outposts along the border. Kabul calls it retaliation, Islamabad calls it provocation. According to Afghan officials, 19 Pakistani outposts were overrun. 55 Pakistani soldiers killed, several captured alive, weapons and armor seized. Afghan Taliban's defense ministry claims it carried out airstrikes inside Pakistan, including a strike just 5 kilometers from the Pakistani Prime Minister's office, along with attacks on military bases in Noshera, Jamrud and Abbottabad. Afghan state media even aired visuals claiming war booty, rifles, ammunition, military supplies allegedly seized from Pakistani forces. Then came the biggest claim. Afghan sources told Tola News that a Pakistani fighter jet, reportedly an F-16, was shot down after crossing into Afghan airspace. Islamabad flatly denies losing any aircraft. But what happened last night? Around 8 p.m. IST, Afghanistan says it launched large-scale retaliation, heavy weapons, rocket launchers, laser units. The battle raged on for nearly 4 hours. Close to midnight, Pakistan struck back. Islamabad announced air operations targeting Kabul, Kandahar and other locations, calling it a righteous response. And as the battlefield heated up, diplomacy kicked in. Pakistan Foreign Minister dialed Saudi Arabia, and sources indicate that Islamabad is also reaching out to Qatar to help cool tensions. From airstrike claims to jet shoot-down allegations, this is no minor clash. It's a fast escalating conflict that could put the region on the edge. Bureau Report, India Today.
And Pakistan is now reaching out to regional partners to intervene to help dial down tensions. In fact, we are told Riyadh has stepped in, calling for restraint and diplomatic engagement after being approached by Pakistan amidst this escalating tension. Saudi Arabia's foreign ministry has acknowledged active communication, signaling behind-the-scenes effort to defuse the crisis before it spirals out of control. This comes after Pakistan's foreign minister Ishaq Dar dialed Saudi Arabia and spoke to Saudi foreign minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan. Now, even as this battle escalates, Islamabad now appears to be realizing that it may have carried out an airstrike. It may have hoped it will intimidate Afghanistan and there would be no response. But then Afghanistan reacted where they are strong, on ground, along the Durand Line, inside Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and with drones hitting Islamabad and Abbottabad and Noshera. Pakistan knows it's in for trouble. So it's activating the diplomatic lines. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, we're told they've also reached out to Turkey. This after Pakistan's Defense Minister Khwaja Asif, he dramatically declared that this is an open war along the Durand Line. So one wonders, how is it that within 12 hours of that open war, they're desperately seeking foreign intervention? Quite similar to Operation Sindoor, where they reached out to America after India bombed multiple air bases. But tonight, I want you to take a look at the Durand Line, the Durand curse for Pakistan, if I may. The Durand Line is back in the headlines. So what is the Durand Line? I want you to look at it on the map because that's where you'll understand the Durand Line better. This is actually a border that's drawn in blood, and once again, it's at the center of missiles, rockets, and military mobilization. Kabul, whichever regime, ever, since the time Durand Line was drawn, they've never accepted it. They say that their regime extends, or the Afghan territory, the Pashtun-dominated areas, Peshawar is a part of it. The origins. The Durand Line was drawn in 1893 by the British. Now, the aim was to divide the British Indian territory and Afghanistan. So, this is a colonial-era boundary that defined the British Empire. It's a human divide. It's actually split Pashtuns into two. Communities are divided. So today, Pakistan says they've inherited it. It's modern-day Pakistan. Afghanistan says nothing to it. Afghans have rejected the Durand Line forever, then and now. They've kept the concept of Pashtuns being united and divided by an artificial line. Pashtunistan is their big push. In fact, Afghanistan has periodically revived the call for a united Pashtun homeland, and this is Pakistan's worst nightmare because Pashtuns in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, they are brothers with Pashtuns in Afghanistan. So technically, while there was a fencing flashpoint which came up in 2017, Pakistan tried to fence a major chunk of the Durand Line, calling it a national security necessity. The Taliban says it's unilateral, it's illegal. Taliban fighters in the past multiple times, they've torn that fence down. now Pakistan is in deep, deep trouble once again. And let me now break it down in terms of what's happening on ground and the road ahead. I have Farishta Kargar, former Director of Bilateral Economic Commission, Ministry of Finance, Afghanistan, joining me on the broadcast. Welcome. General Sanjay Meston is former Indian Defence Attaché at the Embassy of India in Kabul, joins us on the show as an expert. Munir Memon is a senior journalist, joins us from Pakistan. In a moment, we'll also be joined by Dr. Irshad Ahmad Khan, a senior leader of Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz. But let me begin by asking our guests from Afghanistan. Farishta Kargar, welcome. Your take on the current tensions. Pakistan is blaming Afghanistan. Pakistan says this is war on Taliban.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today. And first of all, I want to condolence the families who lost their loved ones last night. Unfortunately, it's not the first time that Afghanistan is waking up at the midnight with such a sounds of the streaks and all. So I just want to pay your attention that the both sides are not in the benefits of Afghanistan because the Pakistan wants the Durand and the Taliban wants the legitimacy in Afghanistan. The word should, and it is not in the benefit of Afghanistan. So
Yes.
it is very obvious. It is very, very obvious that Pakistan wants from the beginning this, it was waiting for this opportunity, and we are witness that the Taliban was made by Pakistan, and even like the Osama bin Laden. Was killed in Pakistan, Mullah brother released from the jail from the Pakistan and sent to the Doha for the cooperation and all. So how it comes that suddenly that they are like became the enemy of each other?
True.
From my perspective, they are like the Afghanistan should not come to the game. That why they become enemies.
So let me bring in Munir Memon
will...
quickly into this conversation. Farishta ji, stay with us for a moment. Munir Memon, explain this to us. Taliban now says their hands can reach Pakistan's neck anytime. They say they've struck barely 5 kilometers from Shahbaz Sharif's office in Islamabad. So if they can strike Islamabad, if they can strike Abbottabad, and wasn't Abbottabad the place where Osama bin Laden was hiding? What happened? Why is this fratricide taking place, sir?
Gaurav, thank you so much for having me on the show. Firstly, I would request the Taliban regime to just wake up. It's morning. Stop dreaming. Our Prime Minister is still in his office. All the operations are as on usual basis. Nothing is happening in Islamabad. Nothing is happening in Abbottabad. Yes, there are some clashes on the border side, which the Afghan Taliban regime is actually doing right now. But to be honest, for us, it's nothing serious because we know the capacity of how Afghan Taliban. They are not trained army. They do not have an organization. What they can do, they can just do a guerrilla war. They can hide and active the sleeper cells, and that's what they are threatening. If you see, the Pakistani Prime Minister still is in office, and most of the
He may well be in office, but if Taliban can
Afghani
strike in
regime
Islamabad
is
and
not in
Abbottabad,
their offices. They have left their home. And if you see, they are cowardly scared and running here and there, hiding at the places just to seek some kind of refuge where they can find from Pakistan.
okay. Javed Timuri, as a journalist in Afghanistan, Pakistan says Taliban is hiding, Taliban is scared of Pakistan.
Hello, sir. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for having me. Yeah, one is claiming and also spreading propaganda, and this was something that the Pakistan used always, and when they had a war with India. But when you come to the battlefield, so you will see how much the situation is different from what the Pakistan media and their officials says. I went to the Durand Line today. I visited the Afghan forces because last night they had a retaliation, a massive retaliation operation against the Pakistan army and also their militias. They killed more than 60 Pakistan soldiers, and also they arrested several of them, and also even their dead bodies were taken from their checkposts and bases into Afghan sites. And the rest of the Pakistani soldiers and their militias, they have left their checkposts and they ran out to Pakistani sites. This is one thing. Another thing that unfortunately Pakistan is repeatedly, they are targeting civilians. They are hitting civilians with American aircrafts. They have killed 17 members of one family, including children, men, and women, and it was covered by national and also international media. So, according to the battlefield situation and also the situation that we see it on a battle, unfortunately, the Pakistanis are spreading propaganda in their media, and also the Afghan. I talked to many Afghan soldiers. They were on the front lines. Their morale was much higher, and they were. Really,
so I'll come to the morale in just a bit. I want to understand the ground situation. Because, as Farishta ji pointed out, General Meston, Pakistan trained, armed, launched, nurtured the Taliban for decades. In fact, I want to play out an image of 2021 when Taliban took over Afghanistan in 2021. Faiz Hamid, DGISI, he landed up at the Serena Hotel and he was celebrating. Imran Khan said shackles of slavery have been overthrown. General Meston, what happened? Taliban is today killing Pakistan. What went wrong, sir?
Yeah, absolutely, Gaurav. What went wrong? Firstly, Afghan Taliban was successfully being manipulated by the Pakistan ISI and Pakistan generals over a period of time. And when I was in Afghanistan, I recollect many Afghan Taliban used to tell me, now it is high time we have understood the entire plot of Pakistan ISI and their senior army generals. They want to just keep the Pashtuns fighting with others so that they cannot raise the issue of Durand Line. And therefore, this had to happen, that the Afghans today are unified and they are hitting Pakistan army. And I'm very glad that the Afghan has made a statement that their hands will reach their necks anywhere. And that is what the capability and morale of the Afghan armed forces, which is being led by the Afghan Taliban, which of course was nurtured and trained. And let me tell you another advantage. The Afghan Taliban, which was nurtured, trained, equipped by Pakistan Army, and when the ISAF was operating there from 2001 to 2020, all these Afghan Taliban were in Pakistan territory, and they used to be launched inside Afghan territory to hit back at the ISAF. Now, what does this imply? That the nerve centers of the Pakistan ISI, the Pakistan army, is known to the Afghan Taliban. So therefore,
and Munir,
now they know. And
Munir, that's Pakistan's worst nightmare coming true. That Taliban trained, armed and launched by Pakistan's army and ISI are now turning against Pakistan's army and ISI. I believe your DG ISPR today was talking about 53 centers being hit at 15 different sectors along Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Haven't Pakistani casualties been as high as 5,000 since the takeover by Taliban in Afghanistan?
Gaurav, the thing is, we accept we trained Taliban, and for whom we trained Taliban, that is also a fact. Right now, the issue is Taliban are fighting against Pakistan using US weapons, which US left behind. Pakistan is fighting with Taliban with Indian money, who is being sponsored by India right now. And
where is the evidence? India kahan se aa gaya beech mein? Kuch bhi hota hai Pakistan mein. India. What is your obsession with India? It's Taliban that's killing you. Why are you blaming India?
How these Talibans are motivated? They're only motivated for money. They're only misguiding their people. Do you think Afghan Taliban who were trained? Okay, we trained them. Fine, it's fine. But that era we trained, it was 1917 and 80s. Now, right now in 2026, don't you think Pakistan Army is much
post 2001, the entire Haqqani network, the Haqqaniya Masjid, the Haqqaniya Madrasa, That training was not in 1970s and 80s. It was post 2001 when Richard Armitage threatened to bomb
It's
Pakistan to Stone Age.
2026. Pakistan
So,
Army grows in today. Pakistan Army is a skillful army. Let's not get back to that. We didn't train them at that they can come and beat us. They have this fear that Pakistan is the only country who knows where are the hideouts, where are their issues, what are the points, the striking point which Pakistan knows. The intelligence Pakistan have against Afghanistan. No other country has that kind of intelligence against Afghanistan, and that is the issue with Afghanistan.
if you
Pakistan has,
had that kind of intelligence,
over the years,
Farishta Kargar, if despite having the
repeatedly
intelligence,
Afghanistan,
5,000 chaps have been killed
Taliban.
in Pakistan, it just shows your ISI the chief should be sacked. He was celebrating in Serena Hotel and 5,000 of your chaps got killed in the past 5 years. But Farishta Kargar, the situation right now along the AFPAC border, is Pakistan still trying to use Afghanistan as their strategic depth? Is this a regime change operation as far as, Asim Munir is concerned in your view, because they want America to have the Kandahar base?
Yes, of course, because like the Taliban wants to be legitimized, but it is but the for the Afghanistan people, we can, as an Afghan nation, we cannot accept, when we cannot close our eyes that from the past 4.5 years that there is no right for the women and the girls
True.
to go to the school and work, and they don't have their fundamental rights. They don't have anything, and we cannot forget their this new. Law of conduct, which the people have no right for nothing. So it is very obvious that they are playing a strategic to be legitimized, but it is not acceptable for the nation of Afghanistan. It's not for the benefit of Afghanistan. It is only for the benefit of the Taliban. And if they win the battle or if they lose the battle, it is between the Pakistan and the Taliban. So Afghanistan will not get anything from this battle.
But
Only
does
if they will
Afghanistan, do the
lose.
people in Afghanistan, do you as, an Afghan national, do you accept the Durand Line, madam? Are you okay with the Durand Line?
I'm not a politician, but I'm telling you the truth, that this is not for the benefit of Afghanistan.
No,
The
but my
only
question to
thing
you is
that happens
my
that
question to you is very
Afghanistan people
specific.
are
I'm not asking a politician,
losing
I'm
their
asking an Afghan
families.
citizen. I'm asking an Afghan citizen, do Afghans accept the Durand Line?
I don't want to answer this question. You should ask from the politicians these questions. I'm a women activist.
Okay, fair enough. Let me get Javed Timuri, a senior journalist from Afghanistan, from Torkham. He's been to the border. He reports from the border extensively. Javed Timuri, do Afghans accept the Durand Line? Because we've been given to believe whether it was the communist regime, whether it was the Shah's regime, whether it was the Taliban, whether it was the democratic forces post 2002. Nobody accepts the Durand Line in Afghanistan. Is that true?
Yes, Durand Line is not accepted. It was not accepted. Was never accepted for any single of Afghan, for any government that it was here. So we still consider a Durand Line as a line, not as a border, and it was just made by the British colonial. And we still seeking for our land that has been unfortunately taken from us, and we are still looking for opportunities, because that is a part of our country, and it's not. No one can separate it from, because we have the same culture, we have the same people, we have the same language, we have the same religion. So it was never accepted for any Afghan, and we will still.
Javed, just quickly tell me before I bring in General Meston, is this likely to escalate? Right now, Pakistan has reached out to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Turkey, hoping for de-escalation, hoping for a standstill, at a time when Pakistan's defense minister, he announced that we are at war with Taliban just this morning. What happened?
Okay.
What, in your view, is it escalating or is it going down?
Okay, Taliban has the faith. Taliban has the nation, more than 55 millions of nations, and they're all stand behind of them, and also they believe on God, and also they believe that they can defeat, when they defeated 42 countries, NATO forces, and also the superpower, they can easily defeat Pakistan army. And right now, like when our security forces, brave security forces, they have conducted drone strikes inside the Islamabad heart, and they headed a very crucial targets, military targets in Pakistan, in different locations of Pakistan. Now they are reaching out to their regional and also international partners and seeking for the interventions, how to cool down this, because they know that they are losing their
Munir, Pakistan is a nuclear weapons state. You were just telling me that Pakistan has such a strong army. Pakistan's defense minister announces war with Taliban. And then 2 hours later, your foreign minister is saying, "Arey bhai, Qatar bacha lo. Arey Saudi Arabia, please intervene. Turkey, please intervene." Arey, what kind of war do you declare? You can't fight for 4 hours.
They are just focusing on just propaganda. They are spreading propaganda. Like they spread it when they were fighting in a fighting with India.
Okay, give me a moment. I want only Javed and Munir on air for just 30 seconds. Go on. Okay, Munir, respond, and then Javed will respond to you. Munir, you know, the strong Pakistan cannot fight for 4 hours.
It's irrelevant that Afghanistan accepts the Durand Line or not. It's irrelevant that you keep on saying and bragging that Pakistan is going and asking for help from any Arab countries. It's irrelevant. Come on, bring it on. Pakistan is all ready for Afghanistan. And to be honest, it's not Afghanistan. It's the Taliban who is the anti-social, anti-human element that Pakistan is targeting. We haven't targeted any civil population. We are not targeting any civil society.
I mean, seriously, irony has tied a suicide vest and detonated itself, Munir, when you are now blaming Taliban. अरे जिस बच्चे को पाल पोस के बड़ा किया 50 साल, अब उस बच्चे को बोल रहे हो वो anti-social है. Really, I mean, hypocrisy, should be called hypocrisy Khan or something, or Memon right now. I want to bring in General Meston.
इंडिया ने बड़े सालों अफगानिस्तान में बड़ी इन्वेस्टमेंट की, और वो इन्वेस्टमेंट जब आपकी डूबी तो आपको तकलीफ
हमारी इन्वेस्टमेंट कभी नहीं डूबी. इंडिया इन्वेस्टेड इन हेल्थ. इंडिया has always invested in good people.
इन्वेस्टमेंट डूब गई वहां पे.
हमारा एक पैसा नहीं डूबा. This is where you are so ill-informed. India's investment is safe. Even the Taliban wants India to run those hospitals, those schools, the development project, because India invests in development. Pakistan invests in terror. General Meston.
That's what I'm saying. That Taliban are only.
This person is, Gaurav, let me be very clear. Firstly, during my tenure in Afghanistan, I came across many Afghans, including from all the ethnicities, Hazaras, Pashtuns, Uzbeks, etc. All of them were opposed to this Durand Line. None of them recognized the Durand Line. That is very, very clear on ground. Number two, Pakistan is the nation which is terrorizing these people, and this person, Munir, commented, that they are being bribed by India. Sorry, their morale is exceedingly high from day one, and they will hit them so hard, and that is why Pakistan has gone running immediately to Saudi Arabia and Qatar and Turkey, crying out like children to save them. And I'm very happy to note from the Afghan journalist, battlefield on ground situation matters. And on ground, they are being given a solid kick. And let me tell you, since 2011, 2014, I saw all this kick being given. That time also, Afghans will now, their blood is boiling. It is not only Taliban. The entire Afghan people are now one. And they are going to hit
Javed,
Pakistan.
is that the case? Javed, is that the case? That Afghan people are all now together battling Pakistan, a state sponsor of radical Islamist terror? Is that your impression on ground?
Yeah, my ground impression is that all people, I came to now, I'm in Jalalabad. So all people, they came on the street, and also they said that if the Afghan forces allow us, we are going to fight against the Pakistan army. Every single of the people, they are ready. Men, women, young, and also small, everybody. Since the Pakistan, all the people now, they know that Pakistan is the enemy, and the Pakistan is the enemy, and also
okay, give Javed a moment. Let Javed complete his point. Munir, I'm coming to you. Javed, complete your point, then we'll bring in Munir.
Yeah, if you go right now, if you go to the Durand Line checkpost, so you will don't see any Pakistan soldiers there. They have left their checkpost, and some of them were killed, and a lot of them were arrested, and also most of them were injured. Their dead bodies were taken back to Afghan sides. So they
Okay.
are just firing and also bombing, conducting bombing on civilian populations. They are targeting civilians, houses and residential places. So this is the only options that has been left for the Pakistani sides. They will
So,
they will close day by
Munir,
day. And
explain
now
this to
that's
us.
why.
Okay, Javed, stay with me. Munir, explain this to us. Since 2001, when Taliban took over Afghanistan, Pakistani casualties started increasing in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. 5,000 fatalities, and we'll just play out those numbers for you. 350 the first year, 2021, rose to 450, came to about 500 odd subsequently. Last year, I'm told it was 1,000 plus. 2025 has been the worst year. 1,229 are those figures that you see on your television screen. Explain this to us. Why is Pakistan thinking it can get away when it could not save these 5,000 lives since 2021? Now that you've bombed Afghanistan, their response will not be restricted to the Durand Line, sir. Their response will be in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and God forbid there are some reports that are coming in of their response in Pakistan's Punjab province.
Okay, Gaurav, on this, I need a minute to respond.
Sure.
Firstly, I want to respond to my brother that he said women are coming. If the women are requested to come to the border, that means Taliban has already surrendered, and we don't fight with women and children and kids.
I just said
We are
women.
trained and
Sorry,
trained
I did not say women.
and one more thing, Gaurav, you said the 5,000. All these were the terrorist attacks. They were not a confrontation. It was not by the war. It was not an army facing army. It was a pathetic exercise, bombing inside masjid, bombing on markets. It was not an actual kind of war that was
You
come eye
taught
to
them
eye in
well,
front
you
of
know.
Pakistan.
Pakistan taught them well.
My friend says these army soldiers have left these checkposts. You don't accept the Durand Line? Then come inside Pakistan. Tell you who is stopping you to come inside? If there is no army, the checkposts are empty, everything is clear. Then why aren't you stepping inside Pakistan? Come on, do it. Just they do it. Pakistan has all the rights. Pakistan will use all its artillery, whether it's airstrikes, whatever what it's need to be protected. Pakistan. I bet not an inch of land can Afghan Taliban can take from Pakistan, and that is the real reality. You keep
You
on
know,
saying the
your
social media,
DG
you keep on
ISPR had said
saying what
something very
Taliban
similar
have been saying.
कि they can come from the right, they can come from the left. वो आगे से आ सकते हैं, वो
They can
पीछे
come
से आ
from
सकते हैं,
nowhere. I can
वो
bet you on this.
कहीं से
They
आ
cannot
सकते
even
हैं.
come out from their
वो
homes if Pakistan
apparently it's
decides to
already
attack
happening.
Afghanistan.
General Meston, before I bring in Farishta ji, General Meston, Pakistan does appear to be in deep trouble. Munir may concede or not. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, they've had 5,000 fatalities in 5 years. Baluchistan, they are having massive casualties from Quetta down to, their entire Pasni, Gwadar, Sindh. They're having casualties in the Sindh province. All across, Pakistan army appears to be very weak, a nuclear weapon army that's losing control of their territory, General Miston.
Yeah, very true. Pakistan army is definitely very weak, and I've seen their performance both on the Indian border and even on the Afghan border when I was deployed. They actually, what the Afghan journalist was telling, I've seen them running away, literally running away and leaving their bodies and weapons. And this is exactly what is happening on the Afghan-Pakistan border. And let me tell you, this man is telling that they will not even take an inch of ground. They will retake everything. There is no doubt on the ground. The Pakistan army is incapable of fighting a war there because the Taliban and the Afghan people are one, and they are going to give a solid blow to Pakistan army. And you have got lessons from even Baluchistan, BLA, small little force. They have been
Yes.
hitting you. So let me be very clear to the Pakistani, this Munir, nothing is going to save you. That is why you are running. A weak side always runs
Let
to
me
plead
let
for
me
mercy.
let me bring in Farishta Kargar into this conversation once again. Farishta ji, you have lived all your life in Afghanistan, except of course when the Taliban took over. What is your reading? Do you think there will be escalation, or with Pakistan reaching out to Saudi Arabia, to Qatar, I'm told very recently to Turkey. Turkey's foreign minister has also intervened. Do you think there will be peace, or will there be more bloodshed in the days and weeks ahead?
As I mentioned earlier, first of all, I want to pay your attention that Afghanistan people are not the one with the Taliban. Afghanistan people don't accept, they don't recognize the Taliban. And secondly, I want to say that if they win, like if the Taliban win, it is not. It doesn't mean that it is the win of Afghanistan. It is against Afghanistan. It will show it will be an excuse for the Taliban to be legitimized by the world.
Sure,
It will,
that's a separate battle. My
and
question to you right now
yes,
was
yes,
for
yes.
your
And for
understanding. What is
yes,
your
from the
understanding? Will the
Pakistan
situation
side,
escalate? The current situation, the way Pakistan is reaching out to Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Qatar, will Taliban listen to Saudi Arabia, Turkey and Qatar, or do you think there will be more violence in the days ahead? I want your understanding on that.
from my perspective, it's a mutual game, and it will harm the people of Afghanistan. So I don't believe that it's a real war between Afghanistan, between Taliban and the Pakistan, because the Taliban was the reason who was creating the war, and they were ready all the
But they
time
were
to
trained
be
by Pakistan.
to
They were trained by
yes,
Pakistan,
yes, 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 yes.
so, and they're turning
I
on
agree
Pakistan,
with
but,
that.
on
Yes.
Pakistan once again. I get your perspective on that.
Mm-hmm.
I want your answer
Yes.
on whether Taliban will continue to kill Pakistanis along Durand Line, or do you see more action in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, or do you think it will escalate to other parts of Pakistan? That is my limited question to you.
Yes.
Your
Even if
understanding.
mhm. Uh, even if it is escalated or it comes to the peace, so it won't like it will be like that Pakistan will reach out to their dreams that were wishing for the Durand from the beginning, and also it will be the win for the Pakistan. So it is not, it doesn't
Sure. Javed, the last 30 seconds I have on this part of the show, I want to understand from you, do you see the situation escalate from now? Given that you're in
Yeah.
Torkham, are there more forces on ground, or do you see gradual
Yeah.
de-escalation?
Yeah, according to the situation, so it looks like this battle will continue, because unfortunately the Pakistani sides have no partners, and also their partners, the regional partners that before that they trusted, now they lost their trust, because we had diplomatic solutions. There were peace negotiations in Turkey and Qatar. Unfortunately, the Pakistani side, like they are failed in battlefield, they were failed in peace negotiations as well. So I think it will. This battle will continue for a few more days and weeks. So the main, what's the main problem? The problem is the Pakistani army is they are in fighting with their own nations. They are fighting with Baluch. They are fighting with they are in fighting with Pashtun people since they
Yes.
were oppressed for decades. So now they want to take the attentions of their people, their politicians, and also the war to other sides. That's why they said like the terrorists. There is no terrorists. So they are their own people, because they were oppressed by the Pakistan army, their
Okay.
establishment. So that's why they're fighting against their army. So
We'll
that's
track
why
that
they are
story
now
very, very closely. The situation remains very precarious. The next 24 to 48 hours will be very interesting. I want to thank all my guests for joining on this part of the show. It's being seen as a major reset in diplomatic ties between India and Canada. Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney has landed in India for his first official visit since taking office. This is a visit that's aimed at boosting ties, a reboost to ties after the turbulent phase in India-Canada relations when Justin Trudeau was the Prime Minister. And this visit comes at the invitation of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It's being closely watched not just in India and Canada, but virtually across the world, because this signals an attempt to stabilize the relationship and strengthen the engagement. Canada's Prime Minister, he lauded India's growth story in a social media post. He's taken to the social media platform to say, and I quote, "India is the world's fastest growing major economy. We've just arrived in Mumbai to meet with business leaders and forge partnerships that will unlock new opportunities for Canadian workers and businesses," unquote. I quickly want to cut across and bring in India Today's Foreign Affairs editor, Pranay Upadhyay, joins me for more on this story. Pranay, bring us details. What do we expect from this visit? When we traveled with Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Caracas for the G7 summit, the reset, the signal was there. How is this being taken forward now?
Gaurav, this is a major reset in India-Canada ties, especially after the freezing phase of Justin Trudeau's era, or maybe before that. We have seen that India-Canada relations have always been accident-prone, from Kanishka bombing to opposing India's nuclear test to Hardeep Singh Nijjar case. But now is the best time to reset the India-Canada ties, because Canada is facing a very peculiar situation. On one side, their business ties, their trade ties with United States are on a very volatile turf, and therefore they are looking to expand their trade ties. And if the man in business, the man in charge, Mark Carney, who is a finance professional, has come with a large delegation with a serious business agenda, and that's why he has landed in the economic capital, the financial capital of India.
Yes.
And thereafter he will come to Delhi. He has come with a large business delegation as well, and that delegation is going to forge the relation. Energy and security are going to be two important pillars of this partnership, Gaurav. Energy, India's High Commissioner to Canada has said ahead of this visit a very important statement. He said that India's energy appetite is so big that Canada, even if they want to fulfill, will not be able to fulfill. So we are ready to buy whatever you want to sell. But security, be it Khalistan issue or be it the other issues of human trafficking, that asylum racket, the drugs cartels or organized crime, has been an issue of concern for both India and Canada.
So let's take this step by step. Let me also bring into this conversation Daniel Bodman, who joins us from Canada for more on this, is a senior correspondent. Daniel, welcome. It's been a while. Daniel, how is Canada viewing Mark Carney's visit to India? What are expectations in Canada?
Again, Canada's very deeply unserious still as a country on foreign policy issues. And the India story doesn't really penetrate that deeply into the Canadian psyche. So the only things that are going on in mainstream media right now, it's sort of like the last dying grasp of the Khalistan movement. Every Sikh activist is now reporting that there's an Indian government agent in their bed about to snatch them tonight. If Mark Carney goes to India, then Raw will pop up in every Gurdwara and snatch away every Sikh leader, read militant Khalistani, and vanish into nothingness. However, these cries of victimhood are getting a lot less traction among mainstream circles. So right now we just have Khalistanis sort of screaming into a void, whereas when they did this in the Trudeau administration, they would scream into a void, and then a minister would show up to legitimize whatever lucid dreams they just had. But now it's pretty much just nothing.
Okay, Pranay, there are several commentators who've been saying that Mark Carney's played a very critical role in trying to get democracies on the same page to tie up better economically so that they can deal with the flux in the world, with Trump tariffs, for example. So, you have Mark Carney, you have Prime Minister Narendra Modi, you have Emmanuel Macron in France, you have, Lula da Silva in Brazil, and there are several of these democracies that are coming closer together. Is that something that's happening now? Is that also something big that's on Mark Carney's agenda or India's agenda?
Very interesting.
Well, yeah, it's been, yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead. Please.
Okay, Daniel, you go first, then I'll come to Pranay in just a moment. Go ahead, Daniel.
Okay, yeah. Definitely re-establishing ties with India has been Mark Carney's one of his prerogatives, and trying to fly around the world to get business deals done. He's gotten a lot of deals done. How real are the deals he's done is still a question to be put up in Canada. There hasn't really been anything of major significance done. But I have heard from contacts on both sides of both governments, India and Canada, that since Carney came in, fixing the India-Canada relationship has been a priority, and he has tried to do it. And I do know that the Canadian intelligence side and the Canadian Carney side is aware of the problem that the Khalistanis present to them and how the Indians perceive this problem. So they've been working on it. And I think that's why you get the release of the bomber of 2611.
Okay, so two things. One, when it comes to the 2611 investigations, Tahavur Hussain Rana and action against him, point one. Point two, the economic cooperation. And three, the security cooperation. Are we over the hump when it comes to Canada viewing Khalistanis as freedom of expression and India viewing, it very clearly as what it is, terror?
Gaurav, I can say that, as far as the Khalistan issue is concerned, this is more issue of concern for Canada than for India, because, the
True.
way they have grown in Canada and the way they are becoming a problem of law and order and security, and the way they are running the illegal gun rackets, the illegal trafficking business, the illegal immigration business in Canada, that should be a cause of serious concern for Canadian Prime Minister and Canadian government. And you see, Mark Carney has given indication that he wants to discuss the security issue. He has brought senior leadership from the security establishment of Canada. He has come with the defense minister, foreign minister, finance minister, and the senior members of his cabinet to India to have dialogue and discussion with the leadership. And as far as the energy trade is concerned, because as I mentioned that energy and security are going to be two important pillars of this dialogue between Prime Minister Mark Carney and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, because energy, India has a huge appetite. Canada want to diversify, and as you mentioned about his Asian outreach or his outreach to non-US democracies, you see this leg of his visit. After India, he's going to go to Japan and Australia. So
Yes.
so all Quad members except US, he is reaching out. And he's trying to expand the Canadian business in the Indo-Pacific region. So clearly he is with an agenda, and we can see that after Davos, the kind of thing he's trying to build for the Canadian economy. He wants
Yes.
to sell the Canadian energy products, and India comes as a big market, from uranium
Okay.
to LNG and to petrol and gas.
And let's see how this relationship moves forward. It's a long visit. There's a reset that's happening in ties, and those are images from G7 in Caracas. We were reporting from ground zero. This was 2025. 2026 promises to be a new chapter that we'll be tracking very closely. I want to thank both Pranay and Daniel for joining me. That is all I have for you on India First this evening. Many thanks for watching. News and updates continue on India Today. Stay with us.